Well, good evening and welcome to Live in the Hive. It is Sunday, the 12th of December, and you are here with me because hopefully you really love theatre and you might be based in Greater Manchester because we are the only online magazine show that talks about theatre in Greater Manchester because we absolutely love it. Now, you might have seen a little bit of my t-shirt there. I've got to say, this is my t-shirt that I'm rocking at the moment. It contains a great message. Of course, it's very important that we all do that. It's a bit of gold sparkle. Look. Very, very nice. And that is all for a great cause. I'm an ambassador of Prevent Breast Cancer, and this is their official Christmas t-shirt. So yeah, if you do want one, go and head over to their website because they do brilliant work. Now, talking of brilliant, we have got a brilliant show for you this evening. Oh my goodness, it is theatre jam-packed, just how we like it. I've been speaking to lots of people this week. I've been speaking to some of the cast of Peter Pan, which is playing at the Bolton Octagon, and I've also been speaking to a ventriloquist. Yes, it is hard to say ventriloquist, as you will see in my interview. On top of that, we have got our theatre news. So we've got some great announcements that have been made this week in the world of theatre. Plus, you're going to see a sneak peek of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe, which is currently at the Lowry Theatre. And my goodness, is it a spectacular treat? One word, stunning. So you're going to see that a little bit later on. But first up this evening, we are going to be taking a look at my interview that I did earlier this week with a brilliant comedian. Not only is she a comedian, she is a top class ventriloquist. You've probably seen her on tons of TV programs, but she took the time out to speak to me in the Hive. She's called Nina Conti, and she's coming to Manchester in January. It's definitely going to be a good show. This is a very busy time for you right now. You're in the middle of the dating show UK tour. How's it going?
It's exciting. It's been really lovely back in theatres again and seeing audiences all kind of enjoying each other as well as the show. You know, they seem to be enjoying each other. So it's been a really good feeling.
It's been 4 years in the making. Am I right in saying that? Gosh, you must have been itching to get this going.
Well, it was definitely on ice for a good 2 of those years. But yeah, and it's completely changed. I mean, I originally was thinking I would actually maybe try and get couples together in a kind of dating way, but now I'm just up for having a funny show, and it's its own thing. It's chaotic, it's nonsense, and I mean, to find true love is incredibly unlikely. It's all about having a laugh and often putting the most inappropriate people together for dates.
I do love this premise because it is like your Scylla for one night only when you come to Manchester on January the 8th. But what is it like when you get those people out of the audience? Do they know what they're in for? Because obviously we've seen you do your performances before, but yeah. I mean, when they're actually in that situation, what are their faces like? Well, the top half of their faces.
Yeah, so I have these masks that I put on over their nose and mouth. It's very COVID friendly, actually. I've been putting masks on people for years. I didn't know I was so ahead of the curve. Anyway, so this door goes on and it sort of opens and closes with a controller. So it makes it look like they're talking. And actually there were 2 women came up last night, and one of them, she was like, oh God, okay, I'll come up. But she didn't seem like all about it, which is nice, actually. If someone's too keen, it's too much. But once the mask was on her, she really changed. And she was like dancing by the end, doing all kinds of things. She did not look shy at all, because I think the audience response is so warm that people start to feel safe, and they start to think, oh, this isn't really me. I don't have to even worry about what I'm saying. I'm just kind of going with the flow. And they realize they can get a big laugh out of doing not very much. I mean, big laughs.
It's a great way of getting rid of your inhibitions, I imagine, because like you say, for that time on stage, you are that completely different character because you don't know what's going to come out of your own mouth because it's your mouth, Nina.
I know, it's my mouth. It's very confusing. And actually, I do fall for my own illusion a bit after the show. I remember the people that were on stage and thought, oh, it was funny when she said that. And do you remember when he said, yeah, no one said anything. I talked to myself all night, but I end up with memories of people that I believe were real. Really,
That's madness, because every night is going to be completely different, isn't it? It's like
yes.
complete improvisation. And how challenging and scary can that be?
Well, you go with the flow and you turn up without any expectations. And I try not to think and get in the way of the flow of the thing. Last night there was a mother and daughter. This was in Southend. We had a mother and daughter, and they were both single, and they were picking out dates for each other. And the daughter picked out a guy for her mom, and vice versa. And then there was another sister who was there with her husband. Anyway, there was the sister and the husband seemed to fall out. And then the husband said he fancied her mother, and the mother was started doing all this like action. I was just, oh my God, you guys have just taken this somewhere else, but no one said anything. I'm just responding to their physical cues. I don't know. I guess that guy was looking kind of gormlessly at the mum, and I just had him say, "But I just love her mother." I don't know. I mean, it's totally wrong. We're doing all adults, obviously. It's totally wrong. But I just go wherever it is, and the people on stage seem to be laughing. If anyone ever seemed to be having not a good time, I would stop. I would retire them. They could sit down, and I don't have to be a part of it.
Your humor is kind of that nature where, and I love the bits that you do with Monkey. Are we going to see Monk? Because
he's totally in charge.
Caustic humor that comes out of Monk's mouth, I just love it. It's kind of like these rapid one-liners. You just kind of, I can't believe that's just been said. But
and it's stuff I would never say.
Yeah,
it's stuff I would never say. And then I know it's totally like as soon as a thought occurs, I'm sure you have the thoughts. You probably just don't say them. But if there's a device that lets them out, it's quite shocking for me as well as everybody else, but kind of cathartic.
So we are going to see Monkey.
Yes, he's in it. He does all the sort of hosting and with me, and then he chooses the people. It self-selects. Like the people in the audience respond to each other, and whoever they want to see more of are the people that become the show. But Monkey's very much involved. Yeah,
because you've been a pair now for talking like you're a couple. You've been a pair now for about 20 years. Will it be next year?
I know. I didn't think it would last that long, but I didn't realize that it gets deeper and bigger the more you do it, rather than like it's not like I could just get it done. I thought I'd do it for a summer, bit of ventriloquism. No one wants to make a life out of being a ventriloquist. And then I was like, there's more to this. I'll just keep going. And then the more I talk to the monkey, the more he's got to say. And it gets deeper with age and the history of the character and the relationship. It just sort of keeps going.
Oh, that's brilliant, because you started off as an actress, didn't you? You were an actress in the early days, and then you kind of just fell into ventriloquism. And that's a hard word to say. I've been trying to practice it before this interview. Ventriloquism.
I know, it's a weird one. I did start as an actress, but it wasn't as fun for me. Well, I mean, as an actress, you're always just turning up and doing the job and saying the lines that somebody else has written. If you're lucky, if you even get the work. But then once I started doing ventriloquism and talking to this monkey, and he seemed to say all these ghastly things, I found it like suddenly I had a way of writing that I never thought I could write or perform stand-up or anything. And then this was like, suddenly it was just a kind of light bulb moment, like, oh, this guy can deepen my mind. I mean, it sounds a bit much, especially when you think of the kind of jokes he makes when I say he can deepen my mind.
How do you get started? Because I imagine there's this real kind of art. Not everybody can do it. I imagine that if you kind of go, I want to be a ventriloquist, but then there's only very few where you can't see the mouth move, Nina. You've got the ones where you're like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Zoom as well. We had to do Zoom gigs in the early lockdowns and stuff, and that's very unforgiving for a ventriloquist. You can really see, and it's but that was quite good practice, because I ended up thinking, oh, never mind the lip control. Let's just make sure it's funny, and finish shows and go, oh, did I even do the ventriloquist? I actually got carried away. But it is a useful little trick, and I feel quite lucky that I've got a face that can fall into kind of a non-moving pose.
You absolutely.
Naturally.
You do it, and you've not just been doing it in the UK. You know, you went to the US and you did the show there. Was it the
Yeah.
world's best? You became a finalist in?
Yes, it was one of those huge competitions, which is funny at my time of life and in my professional life to be doing a competition. It felt like a little bit really, you really going to
Yeah.
do this? You're going to walk out like a rookie and do a 5-minute thing in front of a panel of judges. And I thought, well, maybe it will make, maybe it will help me work more in America, which I love the idea of. So actually it was quite fun. It was scary though. It was scary because you think, I don't know. I'm not a newbie. I shouldn't really be doing a competition. And you think, when I was in the wings, I was like, if I bomb, this could be damaging. Like this could
It's a
haunt
risk.
me. Yeah, scary. Yeah. What if I just really screw this up badly?
Yeah, what you didn't though. You smashed it.
Enough. Yeah, I didn't win it, but I mean, there was some tough competition.
And is that the thing then now, I think, because we've seen you so much over in the UK. You've had this 20 years. You've done acting. You were recently with Chris O'Dowd in The Family Tree. I mean, that's massive. That's cool. But is kind of the Vegas residency something that you might think of? Or
I don't know about Vegas. I mean, yeah.
Hey, let's aim for Vegas, baby.
Yeah, I know. A strange place though, is it? I don't know where I want to live. It's very hard to imagine like completely moving. It's a dream, but when your kids are in school here and you think of everything, I hope so. I hope I do go live other places and try the things. I really do, but I'm not that organized. It confuses me.
Well, we're very happy to have you in the UK, and I know you're on tour at the moment and you are through to 2022. We get you here in Manchester on January the 8th, so that is something to definitely kick the January blues away and have a damn good laugh.
I think it is a damn good laugh. I do say that hand on heart. It's not, when you see dating show, don't think that, I don't really want to be dating, or, people come in their couples. It's not a dating show. There's the title of a show that's just a funny mess up of a thing.
Oh, she was brilliant and absolutely fantastic at ventriloquism. If you haven't seen her act before, you definitely need to get yourself down there on the 8th of January, because that is going to be one hell of a good laugh, as she said and I said. So that was Nina Conti, who spoke to me earlier this week about her show. But we have got so many shows around Greater Manchester, and some brilliant ones have been announced this week. So let's take a look at this. Yes, of course, it is that time of the evening when we talk about Greater Manchester theatre news. And what is the news this week? Well, we may be talking about Christmas shows that are on now, but the Lowry Theatre has made 2 announcements, count them, 2, about what they are going to be showing next Christmas. And this one is up there with them, Claus the Musical. Now, you may not have heard of Claus the Musical before. That is because this is a world premiere that is happening at the Lowry. It's on from the 14th of December 2022. I can't believe we're mentioning 2022 already, Christmas, going all the way through to the 8th of January 2023. And if you're wondering what it's about, well, there is a book by L. Frank Baum. Now, you might remember that name synonymous with The Wizard of Oz. He wrote that. But he also wrote a children's classic, The Life and Adventures of Santa Claus and How Claus Came to Be. And this is what the musical is about. It's literally, can't even say that. I'm like, that with me and ventriloquism is just not happening tonight. But it's the story of Claus and how he became. So it really is magical, and there's some amazing music in it, an original score. And honestly, the people behind it are Aria Entertainments. And you might remember our very first launch show, we had Katie Lipson, who is the head of Aria Entertainments, and everything that she produces is gold. So that is definitely one to look out for. Tickets are on sale now already for next year's production at the Lowry. And if that wasn't enough, they made another announcement, because the Lowry's got 2 theatres within it. It's got Keys Theatre and Lyric. And this is where Wendy and Peter Pan are going to be on next year. Ella Hickson's production of Wendy and Peter Pan. Now, this is running from the 3rd of December next year until the 8th of January 2023. It's been a brilliant hit over in Tokyo in the summer and really has wowed audiences. It's recently come over to the UK. It's currently at Leeds Playhouse and it's going to be there until January. Now, honestly, Peter Pan is a great production. We're going to talk about Peter Pan very soon because that's currently on at the Octagon, a different production to this. But if you are wanting something magical, you can see the flying there. I think you can't go wrong with that one for next year. I still can't believe we are talking about next year. We haven't even got this year over and done with. And I have to say, there's so many amazing productions this year. I have been really impressed with them. If you have been impressed with any productions that you have seen, please let me know this evening if you're watching. Do let us know in the comments and we'll throw them up a little bit later. Any suggestions that you have got and I may have missed, I would love to hear. And also do spread the word about Live in the Hive. As I said earlier on, it is the only online magazine show which covers theatre in Greater Manchester, and we are a brilliant city for theatre. So hopefully you can get all your news and interviews by watching every Sunday with me at 8 o'clock in my Hive, my garden bar. And if anybody wants an invite to the garden bar, we are taking guests in the bar come the new year. So you could be sitting in here with me having a glass of fizz and talking theatre. Now, wouldn't that be amazing? Now, something that is amazing is something I went to see this week. Oh my goodness, I'm a big fan of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I loved the C.S. Lewis classic and, oh gosh, read it every night as a child. And in fact, a little known fact is I played Susan in the school production of The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. So I was very prepared when I went to see it at the Lowry this week that if anybody forgot their lines, I was going to go straight up there and pretend to be a 40-odd-year-old Susan. Would you think it would have worked? Maybe not. But they are doing brilliantly with this production. It is a total must-see. And I have got a sneaky peek just for you. Take a look at this. Wow, it was truly amazing. And that is on until January at the Lowry Theatre. But what is on elsewhere across Greater Manchester? We'll take a look at our rundown. So many things to choose from. It is absolutely amazing, the theatre in Greater Manchester at the moment. So get yourself there and go and see some live productions. There's so many to choose from. And there's so many ways that you can watch the show. You might be watching it on Facebook. So hello to our people on Facebook. I know we've got some new viewers on YouTube, which is absolutely fantastic. So hello to them. And we are also live on Twitter this evening. So if you are liking the program, please tell more people about it. Now, next up, we have got a great interview with a wonderful actor called Jason Patel. And Jason is starring at the moment in the Bolton Octagon's production of Peter Pan, and it is incredible. Me and the kids went to see it and we were truly mesmerized, and the production itself has got singing, dancing, comedy, acting and flying. Absolutely. So let's take a look at what Jason had to say with me earlier this week. We couldn't get him at the moment because he's currently on stage. that I have got you in the house, in the hive, Jason, because I came to see you last week and I've been raving about Peter Pan at the Octagon ever since. Your show was brilliant.
Oh, thank you so much. Honestly, it's such a pleasure for you to say that. And I'm really glad you had a great time, because obviously that is what theatre is about. And I think one thing that's so special about this show is that it is for everyone, and that it's so fun, and that it doesn't matter what age you are. You come in and you have the best time ever. Like, I've seen dads that have brought their children who just don't look like they look like they want to go watch the football, but they've been dragged to the theatre with their child and the mums, and then they're the ones literally cheering on, and it's just like such a wild feeling. Sometimes it feels like you're at Wembley, especially on a school show. But yeah, I'm really happy that the show is doing what it's meant to be doing.
Well, I saw that reaction myself because the crowd do really get involved in the action. And what I also like is you as characters get out into the crowd, because the Octagon is a great theatre to be able to do this. And me and my little girl, we were like, oh, there's Peter Pan and he's coming down the stairs and it's right near us. And there's, oh, look, the crocodile's on that side, which is brilliant.
Yeah, it's literally just attacked from all angles. And one thing, because it's just a very multifunctional space, and it's really flexible, that we're able to just pop up here, there, and everywhere. And I think that's one thing that people find as a surprise, because they just don't expect it, especially on my entrances when I'm popping up. And sometimes I'm literally hid behind someone's seat giving away theatre tricks. I'm literally hidden behind someone's seat for like 20 seconds, 30 seconds, and then I pop out and they literally like, and it's just like, and I have to literally control myself, being like, no, I need to say my line and not be like, yes, I cannot believe I give someone that reaction.
Yeah, it is fantastic. And we must explain who you are, because the cast is a small cast, but you all play a number of characters. I've got to say, my favourite of yours is Tink. You are absolutely wonderful as that character. What you bring to Tink is just unbelievable, especially your lovely pink furry coat.
Oh, do you love that? Yeah,
I love it.
It's got beautiful, like, embellished, like, jeweled wings, which is just something that's just so, like, slick and chic. Like, I think, because this version of Peter Pan is not what people expect, and it's like, it's not a panto. I call it like a modern retelling of Peter Pan, like a musical adaptation. So. And that's one thing that I think what sets this show apart from other Peter Pans and other like pantos or Christmas shows, is because it's just something that is very up to date, and actually people can relate to, even the way that they've adapted the story and the family, with a twist of like a single parent, and like parents got divorced and they split up, and the idea of like a stepmother, which is really fun. And then that kind of like embellishes into like your outfits and the costumes, and actually the 15 characters that we all play out of it. So there's 5 of us, and we all play, I think between us is like 15 or 17 characters.
Wow.
Which, when you think about it, is wild. So can you imagine the amount of costume changes, which they happen in a very, very short space of time?
I want to ask you about that, because that was one of the things watching it that I was like, how do they do this? Because you literally, and for anybody who's watching this interview now, you know, Jason literally goes in out as Tink, and then you come back out as one of like the Lost Boys, don't you? Yeah. And you're like, how does this happen? I've blinked and he's in a different costume. Is it crazy behind the scenes?
Yes. And I'm not even gonna lie, it's so crazy, but it's great. And that's kind of like the thrill, because everyone's just so like, yes, right, got to do this, and this. And it's very like if you're watching me, it's literally very much like pulling it down and putting your arms through, and just very, very sharp movements to get everything on as quick as possible, as soon as possible. But then also make sure you hide the other costume, or you've taken fully off the other costume and you've got it on, and you don't look like a mess when you come on stage. You actually look like the character, like well presented. So it's taken a lot of time. I've had a lot of practice doing it, and so has my other cast members, because the costumes are quite heavy and they're like full. It's not even just one base and then we just add like a top or a hat or things like that. It's like a full head to toe change, which I think is so amazing. So people really, really see like, right, you're playing this person, you're playing this person. And then actually they kind of like separate, because I play Tinkerbell, but I also play Tootles, and there's a scene when one of the Lost Boys gets kidnapped and I come back on as Tinkerbell and they're looking for him, but not one person ever, like, I just don't think in their mind they clock that I'm playing Tootles at that point. They're just like, he's been taken.
I've got to say as well, you touched on the whole modern and kind of the new twist on Peter Pan. And I do think it's great to kind of switch it up for now and show the relevance for now. And what I also love is, you know, Tinkerbell, you're playing Tinkerbell, is kind of like this gender fluidity that I just don't think we've ever been able to kind of see until now. It seemed natural to have you play Tink. Yeah. It seemed quite natural to have a woman play Captain Hook. And I think that's where we should be going right now with theatre.
Yeah, absolutely. I played Tinkerbell so I did this production, this version of Peter Pan 3 years ago. It was actually my like professional debut job. And one thing that we had, like when it was reviewed, that someone thought it was like really weird and like a political agenda that we was trying to like say about Tinkerbell being like non-binary and like gender fluid, and Captain Hook being a woman. And for me, like, one thing that really struck me is like one of the first shows I ever did, and it was with like, they brought like children in, and in this one too, when we had like schools in and we've been able to chat after, is that like little boys, not just little girls, but little boys have been like, I'm like, what character do you want to be? Like, which was your favorite? And they're like, Tinkerbell, like I want to be Tinkerbell when I'm older. And some of the girls like, I want to be Peter Pan, and I want to be Captain Hook, or Wendy, and which is great because everyone, gender doesn't define what character that you should relate to. And one thing that is really pulled out about Tinkerbell being like in between and gender fluid is that J.M. Barrie actually put that Tinkerbell didn't fit in a box. Like, it was a gender fluid character. That is how it's written in the book. Obviously there've been other versions like that we have all accustomed to know, like commercially like produced, like the films and like the traditional pantos and the traditional outfits. But actually, one thing I think Sarah's really done is actually just really analyze the text well and taken out these parts that actually a lot of people relate to, but people have, guess, like made their own version of. And I think it's really wonderful because it all starts with education. And if we actually place like Tinkerbell on stage as someone who is queer and is like Asian and Northern and is playing a gender fluid character, those like kids and all ages of people can relate to that character, people that necessarily don't feel like they belong. And absolutely. Like, I know how that feels. A lot of people know how that feels. Everyone at one point in their life knows how it feels to be alone or not to fit in. And so to have that sort of character that really holds their ground, stands on their own, and is sassy, is confident, and knows who they are, doesn't matter whether they fit in a box or not. They write their own narrative, like they are who they are, and they don't apologize for who they are. And I think that's what's so wonderful about.
And I've got to say, it is done so beautifully. It really is. It's fantastic. And also what I thought was beautiful was, I think for the very first time of ever watching Peter Pan, I got the message of it, the message of like how important friendship is, you know, and kind of, and also as a mum myself, I have to say I got quite emotional with, you know, the mother and daughter relationship. And at the end, and I'm not going to give it away at the end, but I was just like, and my little girl, Jason, who's 11, turned over to me and gave me a hug at that point.
Oh, I can't, I'll cry. That is so beautiful. There's that beautiful song, like in the second act, about never being too big or too old for a cuddle. And I always see in the corner of my eye, like parents or friends just like slowly gravitating towards each other and hugging. And it's so sweet because honestly, it brings like a tear to my eye. Like I'm getting emotional talking about it because I think it's just like such a clever, beautiful song. And yeah,
It was.
it
It
is
was
all
a
about
moment. So
caring.
thank you. Thank you for that moment. Oh, she hasn't given me a hug since, says Daisy. I got a hug in that show, but I didn't get it. So I have to go and see the show now, I think, every week just to get my Daisy hug. Yeah. That's how it is. But wasn't he wonderful, Jason Patel? Oh my goodness. That whole cast are fantastic. They're so full of energy. And the show itself is truly magical. And if you've never been to the Octagon, you definitely have to take a trip there because it is theatre in the round. And it is so inventive what they do and what you can see on stage there. So take a trip if you can do. You really won't be disappointed. Now, I hope you have enjoyed this evening's Live in the Hive. I certainly have. I had some great guests. Thanks to the lovely Nina Conti and the fantastic Jason Patel. And I hope you liked our little trailer for The Lion, the Witch and the Wardrobe. I'll be back next week with more theatre news. But till then, you can follow us on Facebook. Live in the Hive is our Facebook page. We're also on Instagram and Twitter as Live in the Hive 21. So please do shout about us, and you know where we are every Sunday at 8 o'clock. We are live in my garden bar, the Hive, where it all happens. And next week, we've got a very special show in store for you because we are on the countdown to Christmas. Yes, not many days now until the 25th. And next week, we have got our Christmas special. You really do not want to miss that. We've got lots and lots of other Christmas shows across Greater Manchester to tickle your fancies and whet your appetite. And we're also making a very exciting announcement about Live in the Hive in 2022. I cannot wait to tell you guys. So it's bye for now from me. Take care, stay safe, and I'll see you next Sunday.